All right, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the
To the
flag
flag of the United States of America, to the
and to the
republic
for
for
which it stands,
one
one
nation,
nation, under God,
indivisible,
liberty, with justice.
and justice. All right, good evening, everyone. It is 7:01 p.m. on Monday, January 10th, 2022. This evening, Sean O'Rourke and Kevin Reed will not be here this evening. I see Mr. Mowers here virtually. I see Ms. Katuska is here. I see Ms. Wales is here. Ms. Martin, I do see it says Dee's iPhone. Can you just confirm that it is you by unmuting yourself?
And Mr. Formicella, can you see me?
Yep, I haven't gotten to you, Enid, but I'll mark that you're here.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
I'm here, Jonathan.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Martin. Terry is here and Vice Chair Lapellis is here. All right, so just two of us, so 8 this evening, 7 this evening. I'm going to pass the consent calendar unless there's an objection. Pass the consent calendar. I ask that communications A through H be incorporated into the minutes of our meeting. Item 5, public participation. Is there anyone, I'll begin in the town council chambers. Is there anyone here that would like to participate at this time? I don't see any takers. Is there anyone here virtually? Please remember to unmute your microphone at this time that would like to participate during public participation. Please state your name. Hearing none, I'm going to close public participation. Appointments, we have one appointment this evening. Resolution 22-01 to consider and act upon a resolution regarding the appointment of Deborah Lupo, U of 16 Saddle Hill Road to the Library Board of Trustees with a term ending November 30th, 2025. Can I have a motion for the town council to adopt resolution 22-01 resolved that the Monroe Town Council hereby approves the first selectman's appointment of Deborah Lupo, U of 16 Saddle Hill Road to the Library Board of Trustees with term ending November 30th, 2025. I believe I heard Vice Chair Lapellis with the motion.
Second. Yes.
And there's a seconded by Mr. Rooney. Discussion. Any discussion on this matter? Mr. Rooney, anything from you?
Yeah, that's our appointment, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much. Ms. Lupo is a 20-year resident of Monroe. She worked at Fawn Hollow Elementary School for 19 years as a reading teacher. Deborah's a strong advocate for getting children to love to read and encouraging parents to be part of their children's reading education. She hopes to share expertise with the entire town through work on the library board. I ask place as approval of the point on the agenda. Okay. This appointment fills the vacancy created by the resignation of Emily Cerniak.
Thank you, Mr. Rooney. Any other discussion on this appointment? Hearing no other discussion, I'm going to call for a vote on this matter. All those in favor of the adoption of resolution 22-01, please say aye.
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 All those opposed, please say nay. Hearing no nays, this passes 8-0. Mr. Reed is here and has voted.
Thank you, sir.
I see Mrs. Lupo is here this evening. Would you like to come down and be sworn in? Save you a trip to town hall.
Of course. Please raise your right hand. Repeat it. Do you solemnly swear or solemnly and sincerely affirm, as the case may be, that you will faithfully discharge, according to law, your duties as a member of the Library Board of Trustees to the best of your abilities, so help you God, or on penalty of perjury?
I do.
Congratulations.
I can see all the other town council members. Oh, I'm the only one here tonight. I just realized that. But virtually, they were all clapping. I can assure you of that. All right, action items. Action item A, Town Council Committee on Finance, Education, Health, and Public Safety Matters. Vice Chair LaPellis, have you met yet?
No, we have not met.
Okay, so for all the committees that have not met yet, I would just ask that each member coordinate with each other on picking a date to have an initial meeting so that we can get the ball rolling with utilizing our committees over the next term.
Can you please send me a list of the committee, since it's a new committee?
Sure.
Of course, I'm on it, but can you just send me a list sometime in the next day or so of who else is on it?
Sure. It is Donaldin Wales and Jessica.
There was a document.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, thank you.
Item B, Town Council Committee on Planning, Zoning, Public Works, and Park and Recreation Matters. Mr. Rooney, has your committee?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, I was on that committee last term, although we have to have an initial meeting to choose leadership and things of that nature. We have not met at this point, but I will work hard in between my schedule here to arrange something so we can get that moving. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rooney. C, Town Council Committee on Legislative and Administrative Matters. Mr. Reed, are you still with us?
Mr. Reed is not here today. However,
I am.
you joined.
Jonathan,
Sorry, Kevin, I didn't see you
was
join.
not at LNA, so I'll yield the floor to you to provide an update if you guys held it.
All right, so at LNA, we had two items on our agenda this evening, one of which was the United Way grant today, as well as the Chief of Police updated job description. Both those passed unanimously during LNA. What I will say is we will have a meeting on the blight ordinance the week of January 17th. I believe the when.
I believe you're correct.
Okay, I just need to confirm a place and time, but that will be posted and we will meet on that. Anything else? Hearing nothing else. Strategic Planning Committee, I can give a report on that. We have not met yet. We will meet to elect leadership, as well as I believe we will be moving forward with consideration of certain projects and in budgetary season. EMS Building Committee, Mr. Rooney, just for your information before you speak, we do have a EMS Building Committee update from a member, John. Can't pronounce it. How do you pronounce his name, Ken?
Orzechowski.
Orzechowski. Ms. Rooney, do you have anything you'd like to share with us?
Yeah, so John, that's the financial statement. John is preparing the financials. We distribute a monthly financial to the committee, so everybody's aware of the money that's being spent and where it's going. I don't want to talk too much on that because it's John's report. However, if there are questions and people have any, please, submit them to me, and I have no problem answering them through John. The EMS building is going very smoothly. Electrical has been installed. The majority of the electrical interior has been installed. A lot of concrete work has been done. The piping around the location has been done. There's current conversations that we're having. We have met twice since last council. There's current conversations about A and B Mechanical being able to save us some money in regards to the HVAC. So we're still in conversations with the engineer and the architect. If that would be a suitable exchange, we could possibly save the taxpayers of the town about $20,000 by doing so, but we want to make sure that we're using equal equipment and in line with what the architect feels is appropriate in that manner. Also, we had a meeting regarding some carpentry things. There's some material that was originally submitted by the architect, but due to COVID and increases in materials, there are some materials that can be used. So we did some submittals in regards to that, hoping that the architect would be able to work with those submittals But, you know, there's some things that are up in the air. We continue to do, look over these costs and see where we can still save, you know, taxpayers' money in this building. It's a great thing of having a construction manager at risk. We have control of the project. It's our project. Everybody seems to be working well together. We do have a meeting tomorrow night to discuss these things further. So we'll have some final decisions in regards to those submittals and the HVAC and things of that nature. But I did visit the site. I spoke to Don Smith and Craig, also the EMS workers, and they're very happy with Burlington's performance at this time. You know, doing the work around that building and keeping the EMS operational was kind of a very important part of this project, and Burlington thus far has been doing a great job in managing that. We did go through our first snowstorm. We have contractors there that are responsible for snow removal. We moved a few things around to get some guys into plow, so that worked out. Parks and Rec immediately was contacted. They came out and sand, so everybody stayed safe. So it's looking good. We actually have hit some ledge on one of the sides of the building where we do have to do an addition. So we're looking at an option of bringing in some drilling equipment instead of blasting. Blasting seems to not be a favorite thing. So we're going to potentially bring in some drilling equipment and a large rock breaking device to get through that. So we're in the process of talking about that too. So, but at this point, everything's status quo. Everything's going well. Very happy with the how things are proceeding. So that's all I have for you right now, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you, Mr. Rooney. The only thing I would ask is if you can direct staff to have the report by John O. Be added to the town council packet if it's not did.
Yes, she was going to be doing that anyway. I think it just was a timing of when it was submitted, but yes, it will be added to the electronic package.
Thank you.
Sure.
Open Space and Acquisition Committee, Mr. O'Rourke is not here this evening, but they have not met since our last town council meeting. First Selectman's update, Mr. First Selectman.
Thank you. So to begin, just an update on the COVID situation. I think everyone's, well aware that case rates have risen, continue to rise significantly, not just here, but throughout the state. We've got kind of record level test positivity. Our rolling average is now up to about 34 new cases per day. And we're seeing that about 90% of cases in Connecticut are the Omicron variant. Although those numbers are certainly something we need to pay attention to, there is, for ongoing conversation about how that is becoming less of a the metric needs to be looked at differently in terms of the overall disease that it is creating. Thankfully, overall disease does continue to be less severe, especially for those fully vaccinated and boosted. But of course, just because of the sheer numbers of those that are seeing infection, there is still the possibility for serious breakthrough illness. But again, it's those that are unvaccinated that continue to be at the highest risk, the majority of the hospitalizations. And of course, hospitalizations is the metric that I know the state and certainly we are paying attention to very closely. It is getting close to a high point of the original pandemic, but we're not quite there yet, but that is something that is continuing to be looked at. The state has also indicated that there are, in that hospitalization number, I don't have an exact percentage, but a significant percentage of people that are not necessarily there in the hospital because of COVID, but they're there with COVID. So they're there for some other reason, and then a COVID infection was found secondary to screening at the hospital. So we got to take those numbers in that light. But again, still obviously numbers that are a concern, and we expect that we're probably not at the peak of the Omicron cases yet. I'm sure everyone's well aware of the COVID tests that we were initially delayed in being received by the state due to some issues that they had. We did subsequently receive and we have distributed over 4,000 tests now to Monroe residents. Those were done on January 1st and on January 9th. My thanks goes out to everyone involved. We had a lot of people from emergency management, our CERT team, police department, fire marshal, economic development director, health director. They were all there with me on those dates, and it was really a team effort. We've also delivered a limited number of tests to those residents that do not have transportation or who are homebound. And a separate shipment of tests were also provided for use by Monroe Public Schools. At this point, we do not know if we are going to receive more tests from the state. None of the municipalities have been advised whether or not there's going to be additional distributions. So we're kind of, at this point, on standby to hear if we are going to receive any more or not. And of course, we continue to offer booster vaccinations. That's still being done by appointment, and the new list for the week goes up on Friday at noon. Some economic development updates that I wanted to share. You may have noticed the Gulf Station on Monroe Turnpike did open just before the end of 21 on December 27th. So they are open for business. We have construction that is about to begin at 98 Enterprise Drive. There's an approved 90,000 square foot warehouse building that will be starting construction soon. There's a blighted property at 215 Monroe Turnpike that was demolished. Another blighted property on 4 Easton Road. It's at the corner of 25 and 59 has been sold, something that we've been working on with the commercial realtor for quite some time, and there are a lot of things going on with that property, but it has finally been sold, which we're very excited about, and the new owner has already been in to speak about redevelopment plans, so we're looking forward to that. We have a new business open at Tollgate Plaza, Hive Supply Boutique. Another one that has opened at 292 Elm Street called Smoker's Tune, a cigar shop. And last but certainly not least, Napa Auto Parts will be returning to their former location at 495 Monroe Turnpike, and there will be a ribbon cutting this Friday, January 14th. And of course, I don't remember the time off the top of my head, so I'm going to have to, I thought I wrote it down and I didn't. Sorry, it is at 3 o'clock. And the last thing I wanted to update is that we received word from the State Department of Transportation that they're going to be upgrading most of the traffic signals on routes 25 and 111. It's fairly straightforward. They're going to be replacing all the existing LED lamps with new LED lamps. The current ones last approximately 8 years. They are proactively replacing them with those that have a life expectancy of 15 years. Certain signals will also be upgraded with reflective backplates and directional arrows. We expect this will be done sometime later in the year. It's supposed to be advertised in the spring. I do have a written update, which we'll also get on the online packet for everyone, which does have a listing of all of the intersections and their locations that work will be done. That's my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. First Selectman. All right. We are finished with our action items. We have no matters of unfinished business this evening. Do I hear a new business, item A? Do I hear a motion to accept the following donations that individually exceed $1,500? $1,500 from the Mellon Foundation for EMS, $5,000 from Robert Farr for the food pantry, $3,000 from Santa Energy for the food pantry, $5,000 from Robert Farr from Project Warmth. Is there a motion?
So moved. So
Seconded.
moved.
All right, Enid Lapellis, motion, Jason Mauer with a second. Mr. First Selectman?
Well, thank you. Well, obviously, my thanks always goes out to all of our donors, especially these most generous. The Mellon Foundation and Santa Energy have a long history of contributing to those causes. They have for quite some time, and we appreciate their continued support. And obviously, a big thanks goes out to Mr. Farr and the Farr family for their generosity of a $10,000 donation split between the food pantry and Project Warmth.
Any other discussion? Hearing no other discussion, calling for a vote on the acceptance of those donations. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 All those against, please say nay. Hearing no nays, this passes 8-0. Item B, Resolution 22-02, to consider and act upon a resolution regarding the 2021-2022 Memorandum of Understanding by and between United Way Coastal Fairfield County. Vice Chair LaPellis.
I move that the town council adopt resolution 22-02. Resolved that Kenneth M. Kellogg, first selectman of the town of Monroe, is authorized to execute and deliver on behalf of the town of Monroe the 2021-2022 Memorandum of Understanding and any associated documents by and between United Way of Coastal Fairfield County for COVID-19 relief for town residents in need.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Donald Wales. Discussion, Mr. First Selectman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So this is a welcome repeat of a similar grant that we received about a year ago from the United Way, specifically for COVID relief. This is a $2,000 grant that will go towards emergency financial support and mental health services for those need-based clients of our senior center. Of our social services department, Again, you have seen this in the past. It's pretty straightforward. You have the town attorney's letter of opinion that everything's in order, and we certainly would welcome this added funding and ask that we move this forward.
Thank you, Mr. First Selectman. Any other discussion on Resolution 22-02? Hearing none, I'm going to call for a vote. All those in favor of adopting Resolution 22-02, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those against, please say nay. Hearing no nays, this passes 8-0. New business item C, Resolution 22-03, to consider act upon a resolution regarding revisions to the Chief of Police job description. Madam Vice Chair.
I move that the town council adopt resolution 22-03. Resolved that the town council hereby approves the proposed revisions to the chief of police job description to become effective immediately.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. Is there a second?
Move. Second.
Seconded by Donald Wales. Discussion. Mr. First Selectman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So as you know, my office and HR continue to try and update job descriptions. This one, for obvious reasons, with the chief recently announcing his resignation and wanting to get this position posted, we wanted to make sure this one kind of got bumped up in the list. So my thanks to our HR director, Craig Hirsch, who's here, for his work in gathering some information and making some updates, which we've gone through. We also attended a recent Board of Police Commissioners meeting as well. I went through that with that commission in detail, and they did unanimously approve this final proposed revision, which you'll see is really just tightening up a lot of language. This particular job description had not been revised since 1997, so it wasn't in our current format necessarily, and there's just a lot of language that really just needed more tightening up. Other than that, as we move this forward, I know the police commission's anxious to begin the recruitment process.
Thank you, Mr. First Selectman. Any other discussion on this item? Hearing none, I'm going to call for a vote. All those in favor of passing Resolution 22-03, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Those against, please say nay. Hearing no nays, this passes 8-0. New business item D, Resolution 22-04, to consider and act upon a resolution regarding the 2022 Parks and Recreation fee schedule. Madam Vice Chair.
I move that the town council adopt resolution 2204. Resolved that the 2022 Parks and Recreation fee schedule, as presented and recommended by the Parks and Recreation Commission, is hereby approved and to be made effective on February 14th, 2022.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Seconded by Donaldin Wales. Mr. First Selectman.
Thank you. So this, interestingly enough, is actually a new fee schedule that has no changes to the existing fees. Both the director and the Parks and Rec Commission felt that they wanted to keep things flat this year, that there were no changes necessary. They did adopt this. There are two changes on in the policy, really very minor. One is increasing the maximum group size for the Cedar Grove pavilion rentals from 20 to 25, and really more of a clarification that the Massac pool membership is really only valid from September through June based on our access to the Massac pool. Other than that, as I said, everything else is going to be status quo.
Thank you, Mr. First Selectman. Any other discussion on Resolution 22-04?
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Mauer.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First off, I just want to commend the committee as well as Ms. Euros, our director, for being able to keep their budget to the point that we can keep fees stagnant without any increases. I think that's really important to our community. I only have one question that doesn't affect this vote, but I feel would be a good thing to look into with that Cedar Grove. I think it's important to get it to the point that more people want to rent it out. Is 25 really, just looking into, is 25 really tight there, or could we increase that even more in the future going forward to try to make it a more enticing aspect of where people might want to rent?
Okay. Yeah, we'd be happy to look into it. I know Missy is actually on the call. I don't know if there's a quick answer to that, Missy, or are you something you want to look into and get back? Don't forget to unmute yourself. Maybe her. Missy, you're still muted if you're attempting to.
Like I said, Mr. Select, not an answer we need
That's
right
fine.
now for this vote, but just something that I feel we could possibly look into for the future.
Yep, that's fine. I'll confer with her and get you some background of why 25 seemed to be the right number. But certainly, obviously, yeah, the more we can address. Yeah. Missy's texting me that she's trying to answer. You're muted, Missy. So there's nothing on my end here. I don't think so.
Are we making that noise, or is a caller making that noise?
Maybe she doesn't know it's *6 to unmute.
Oh, her little microphone went off. That's good. I think she's on.
Missy, I think we can hear you if you. Maybe she's got a microphone problem,
Okay.
because she is unmuted on this side. I can see that as well.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so we'll come back to that. Or the First Selectman will reach out to us after this meeting to say. All right, any other discussion on this matter? Hearing none, I'm going to call for a vote on the adoption of Resolution 22-04. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 All those against, please say nay. Hearing no nays, this passes 8-0. Second, public participation. There are no unfinished matters of unfinished business, and there are no unfinished matters of new business. So there's no second public participation this evening. I will adjourn this meeting at 7:30. Thank you all for attending.